Hi, welcome back to AM2R. I am still double negative,
And I am still FB0.
and we're going to go hunt some Metroids.
My least favorite part of any Metroid 2 remake.
In fact, we're getting ready to fight a brand new type of Metroid. Once we get past this jerk.
I don't know what it was, but it's, even in the original, even in Samus Returns, the Metroid fights just aren't great, and I think it's because the game is really cool about the exploration and kind of being able to have like non-linearity.
Mm-hmm.
But then you get to these fights, and while the first one that you fight is cool, the rest are always like the same thing. It's just a lot of the same fights, maybe the arena's a little bit different.
Though to be fair, that some changes in the arena can make the fight a whole lot different.
It's true.
Like a Zeta, and this is a Zeta Metroid, by the way, and in Zetas in particular, like a straight arena like this makes them difficult as hell to fight. There's a couple later on that have like a little platform in their arena, or like little holes or whatever, that actually makes them much easier to fight.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, the big thing here is to take your time and don't waste missiles. Because we actually had enough to take out the Zeta with all of our supers, but...
But it has the ability to kind of block your stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the thing with Samus Returns is you end up like... The Metroid fights, so one, you have that melee counter, and two, you have your charge beam. So you always have the ice beam available to you. The way that the game does it stacks your beams for wave, spacer, plasma, but it doesn't stack your ice beam, so that you can always have ice beam ready to go as a separate beam.
Interesting.
So when you go to have a fight, you can switch the ice beam hit, and if you manage to hit the Metroids in like their weak points with a charged ice beam shot, it will usually stun them for a while. For the alphas and the gammas, they will like kind of fall out of the air. Oh, I forgot about these trooper logs.
Yeah, there's... I'd love to know how this guy got up here.
Yeah, I don't really know. He climbed really quite far.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, I would love, like, for the ice beam in particular to be able to affect Metroids in this game, because it's kind of useless otherwise.
Well, it's actually funny. I mean, we don't have ice beam yet, but it's not a secret that we're gonna get it. And I feel like the ice beam... Also, I love this effect. I think it's really well done with the tiling here.
Yeah, it is.
But, okay, here's a big problem that I have with that, is the enemy AI for the Metroid, the Alpha and the Gamma, basically, is just run towards Samus at all times.
Yeah, and then sit on top of her.
Yeah, I don't like that, because in any Metroid game, like, that's the primary way for a lot of things to try and attack you. But you don't really have super great mobility in a 2D side-scroller. Like, Samus has the ability to move around a ton, but for whatever reason, it's just really not... It doesn't work well for her a lot of times, for the player.
Yeah, it can be difficult to get away from them.
Mm-hmm.
I wish there were better options. Honestly, I wish power bombs affected them for that matter.
It's kind of surprising that it doesn't, but you get them really late, so... yeah.
Hidden missiles up here.
Some cool statues.
Here, Chozo's holding up what appears to be SR-388. Now, I'm really glad they changed this for the for AM2R, because in the original, this was just a pure dark maze. You couldn't see anything.
Oh yeah, you're right.
I've also been watching, what's his name? Mecha Prime's LP of the original. Whoops.
Nice try.
There was an attempt. Oh well, let's get out of here. I actually kind of wish you could get out that. I'm sorry?
That's important.
Yes. I really wish you could get out the back there, but nope, you gotta re-navigate the maze.
Yeah. And then you gotta do this.
Mm-hmm. Whoa. Very lucky there.
The way that they end up doing Spider Ball in Samus Returns is you end up doing, you hold L button down at any time. And it works out pretty well. I forget what it is here. I think it's you have to hit down another time or something like that. Probably like the original. Oh, there's a trigger, isn't there?
Yeah, the L trigger.
Yeah, so they kind of did the same thing. Except it's a hold.
There might be a toggle in the options to hold Spider Ball to activate. Because there's a whole bunch of options you can toggle.
Yeah.
Like there's one that I have turned off that lets you get out of Morph Ball by just walking.
Oh, like an automorph.
Yeah, it actually does a lot more damage than you might think. Can't remember if this is a Gamma or a Zeta over here. I think it's a Gamma.
With an arena like this, probably, because otherwise it would fall into the spikes.
And making you fight a Zeta on top of nothing with spikes would be really mean.
That'd be very rude.
If you've watched the last videos, you haven't yet because I haven't posted them, you see I've gotten much better at fighting Gammas.
Well, you also have super missiles now, so that helps a lot.
I used to waste a lot of super missiles against the Gammas.
Just lining up the shots.
Mm-hmm. Also, my inability to aim straight up.
So one thing about Samus Returns is that it replaces the area with like its own areas for the most part. The first one is pretty similar, as is the second in terms of the area themes. Third one in this game is what? It's kind of like it's the factory or whatever.
Yeah, it's third one's the factory. This one's
the power plant. Yeah, I guess.
Second one is
the hydro. Yeah, and that matches about what the original did in this game. Though I think in the third area wasn't. Anyway, in Samus Returns, this is Area 4, and it's it's actually like a crystal mine, and it
Really?
looks beautiful, honestly. But yeah, it's a crystalline mine.
interesting.
I think Area 5, which we haven't seen yet, ends up being like kind of a nature reserve almost.
Let's see some screenshots of those. I'll have to look it up after we finish this.
There's the Area 5 there has a really nice remix of Red Brinstar.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to look that up, especially the music, because I like the Red Brinstar music.
The music in the game is pretty good. It does its job. It's not super memorable in some places, but the ones that are good are pretty good. But it's definitely got a more atmospheric soundtrack to it.
That's fair. I mean, Metroid is an atmospheric series.
Mm-hmm.
Don't mind me just getting comboed by a Zeta.
Yeah. Dude, I don't blame you for this. These fights are... I don't like these fights. I felt like all of these are, for the most part, really just... How much damage can you tank?
Yeah, basically. Look at my health just dropping.
Now, Samus Returns is really tough with its damage. Like, you get hit by stuff, you will lose, like, full energy tanks.
Really?
It's like Fusion in terms of how much damage gets dealt to you. But you have ways to mitigate it, because most of the rooms are much bigger. Like the scale of everything is changed. Plus, you have the counter attack, which can happen.
Yeah.
Things are pretty telegraphed.
I would love the counter in this game.
Yeah.
Look at how much health we've got.
Yeah, you lost all of your health to one fight.
Do not fuck with Zeta Metroids.
I think the problem there is that they send out one shockwave with no telegraph, basically.
I think... I want to say they do it every time you fire a missile, basically. Like, once they get below half. So the only way to reliably hit them with missiles after the first bit is to cheese them. And we'll see that actually in about the next fight. Because, spoilers, we have one more Zeta. Actually, there's only 2 more in the entire game, thankfully.
Phew. But yeah, like, you can see why I'm saying, like, this is kind of... The Metroid hunting is not my favorite part of the game, because we're going... This is a straight, 10-12 minutes of just running around an area after you find cool power-ups or whatever, just cleaning up.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how it goes even in the original.
Yeah, the concept itself is fine, because it is a very important part of the Metroid series or whatever, but...
Like, there's a reason that it does all this, but it's just, I don't know. There's something about it that just isn't that fun. Plus, I remember in Area 3, there's one that you have to do, like, a gamma fight over a huge lava pit or something. It's in the factory.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
It's not as... I think for that one, I should just stood in the lava and just tanked it, because it didn't matter.
But still, it's not great.
No.
Well, the lava's all gone, though.
And see you guys next time.